You're watching Mick and T's Sports Report on CHCO-TV in St. Andrews. And now, here's two guys whose strawberry shortcake entry once won first prize at the Nova Scotia Men's Baking Contest, Evan and Joe.
I'm Joe Ticotsky down here in New Haven, Connecticut.
I'm Evan McFarlane here in St. Andrews, New Brunswick, Canada.
And this is episode 29, the winter episode of Mick and T Sports Report here on CHCO-TV. In the opening intro, you may have noticed a different... Huh?
It's starting to feel like it a lot.
Yeah. In the opening intro, you may have noticed a new voice. Amelia was not fired, and she has not gone on strike. We're just going to mix things up a bit as my old college roommate, Mark, is doing the intro from time to time, and we'll mix it up. He does voiceover work out in California, so I told him it's time to give him a shot and see if he can make it big in Canada also. And as he mentioned in the opening, our strawberry shortcake entry did once win first prize in the Nova Scotia Men's Baking Contest. A proud moment for us.
Yeah, I mean, there was only one person in it, and it was us, but we'll take the win. We'll take the win.
They don't need to know that. We could tell them about all the international bakers that flew in for the contest and all that. When I was up in St. Andrews last month, Vicky Hogarth from the station here was kind enough to have us both as guests on her Southwest magazine show. And as you could see in some of the clips, there were a few little oddities. And in the first clip, I had my right leg crossed over my left leg in the classic old man hipster look. But then right in the middle of it, my leg fell asleep. And I'm like, how am I going to get out of this? And but once the camera zoomed in on Evan, whoa, there it is. I magically switched to cross my left leg over my right. The miracle of modern TV.
Well, I had tall man problems where I almost crossed my knees over my ears.
And then as the interview ended, you could see that awkward end of interview time where I downed my daily glass of Maalox, and then you can see Evan do me one better by actually doing a shot of local moonshine right on local TV. That was impressive stuff.
Old City Gin, they call it.
Yeah. Since we are getting close to that time of year, we wanted to highlight some Christmas ornaments that I found online that you can purchase this year. So the first one is the Santa and Elf curling duo. There's Santa and how cool is that? Santa and the Elf. Then next up, of course, what would be Canadian Christmas without a poutine ornament?
You need that 100%. That has to be down at your place. Put it on your doorknob.
That was my old diet. And then this one's pretty cool. It's the Hockey Night in Canada. There's a little Zamboni there and an old school TV and the Hockey Night in Canada logo.
Those are amazing.
They are cool. And then the last one, which I'm going to have Evan help us with because I had no idea, the Canadian milk bag. At the top.
Just an old bag of milk, those things that replace the cartons that you guys have down there.
So what do you have to put it into a mug and then just...
You buy them, there's like 4 or 5 bags of milk in a bag. So they're usually like 1 liter bags, and you just cut them open and then put them in a little holder.
Oh man.
I don't know the reasoning for it. I've never understood it, but I would definitely put a bag of milk on my Christmas tree.
All right, you can buy some of those for your loved ones. I will. Also, I wanted to mention, since this will air in the beginning of December, on December 9th, 10th, and 11th, from 5 to 9 p.m., St. Andrews will be hosting their European-style nighttime Christmas market from 5 to 9 in Market Square. I will not be able to make it. I'll have Evan report on that.
I'll do my best.
Should be a good time. This episode, I will hold off on the TV quiz to give Evan some time to study the old TV guides I left for him when I was up there on my trip. So we will go right to music spotlight, and we'll go with you first.
Sure. I'm going to start changing my segment to not my suggestion, and I'm going to change it to what is called the Ryan Johnson Music Selection of the Week. And he's my buddy who usually says, you should talk about this guy. So he showed me this fella. His name is Ryan Cook. He's from Nova Scotia. You should check him out. Just cool little country act. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I saw he's from Yarmouth, and he's open for Dwight Yoakam and Roseanne Cash and Travis Tritt, among others. And so a little country music here. This is called Gaspereau Bay. So here is Ryan Cook.
I got me a friend in the valley, knows she loves music. All the sounds set her free. I got me a truck in the valley, 92 Sierra, 305 with four-wheel drive to lead me.
So that is Ryan Cook. I didn't realize you guys had the country music thing going on up there like we do down here.
Kind of. It's like a hybrid. I can see you going down the highway in the Hyundai listening to that.
There we go. All right, so that is Ryan Cook, and I am going to go, continuing our winter theme here, a woman from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. Her name is Elise Aeryn, Aeryn. Have you ever heard of her?
I haven't.
Yeah, she has got some good music, singer songwriter, and we'll sort of go into the break with her. We'll let her take us to break. Coming up next, I'll keep the winter theme going with a little coffee. Coming up next, and continuing our theme for the episode, we interview a guest that is perfect for the upcoming start of winter. You're watching Mick and T's Sports Report on CHCO-TV in St. Andrews, New Brunswick. Welcome back to Mick and T's Sports Report on CHCO-TV. Our first guest is a former Canadian national snowboard team member, two-time junior world champion, and a professional snowboarder who owns Vaughan Snowboards in Fredericton. But right now, he's about as far from Fredericton as you can get from Sugar Bowl Ski Resort in Lake Tahoe, California. Let's welcome Dave Vaughan to the show.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
All right, Dave, you were born and raised in Fredericton and grew up snowboarding at good old Crab Mountain. How were you introduced to snowboarding, and when did you start competitively?
Well, I guess it started, my father, Doug, is a ski instructor. So we started skiing when we were 3 years old, my brother and I, and my sister's older, and she started skiing, I think, when she was even 2. So we'd always been on snow, even really before snowboarding was a thing. My brother actually started snowboarding first, and I kind of looked at it. We were ski racing at the time, so I wanted to stick with ski racing, and he would go off and snowboard and have lots of fun. So finally, he talked me into trying it, and the first couple times were rough, and I wasn't sure I was going to like it. But actually, my dad and I were out one day when it kind of clicked, and then all of a sudden, as soon as we were done ski racing, I wanted to put a snowboard on and start ripping around Crab Mountain or Poley Mountain in New Brunswick.
Nice. Evan?
Yeah, so kind of a three-part question. When did you start Vaughan Snowboards to be the first part, and what made you decide to start your own company, and how many people do you have working for you?
All right, so back when I was on the Canadian national team, I was riding almost all handmade snowboards. For me, I was always needed snowboards that were stiffer or longer, just custom specs. So when I retired from the national team, I still had a bunch of my quiver that were still working pretty good. I kind of got through that quiver and then started to try some boards, like just off the rack boards. And I just couldn't find anything that really was working for me. So I went back to one of the companies that had made some custom boards for me before. And that company had changed a bit and gotten bigger. So they weren't really doing the custom stuff either. So at that point, I was like, well, let me try to do this. Let's see if we can make some snowboards. I did have some experience making boards before. So sometimes with my own custom boards, I'd be very involved, obviously in the design, but sometimes even in the laying up process of those boards. So it's not like I'd never done it before, but I just thought it was time for me to, go out, and my goal was to make 10 or 12 snowboards a year. That was it. It was going to be one size, the size that I like. And if you like the same board, then you could have it too. And it kind of has snowballed from there into, what it is today.
Okay. Now, where are the boards made, and do you have a storefront, or is it online sales only?
So they're all made in Harvey, New Brunswick now. We've had a family place in Harvey for forever, and then I just got to the point where I built a nice new shop in Harvey. So we're making them all there. It's a great spot because all of the wood that I use in the boards, as you can see, they're all wood. It's all sourced locally now. So it's a huge help that everything comes from within New Brunswick, basically, to make these, except for the base and the edges. So super nice to have it in New Brunswick where I can get access to all of the best materials. We don't have a storefront. Honestly, most of our sales are word of mouth. I have a number of ex-US and Canadian national team members riding them now just through my network. And we do have a website, vaughnsnowboards.com, which you can order through. I would definitely recommend, if someone's looking at a board, just reach out to us through our website, through an email, because we really like to be part of the process of selecting your board. And so don't just go on there and start clicking buttons and buy one. Make sure you reach out first so we can make sure that you get on the perfect board.
Great. Evan?
What would be your biggest obstacle to making snowboards? And I know custom anything comes with a bit of expense. So what would be the price range of your highest price?
So probably one of our biggest obstacles is, we have a building season and we have a selling season. So one thing that happens, so right now we're done building snowboards for the year. So if someone called me right now and said, I need a snowboard for January, it's not going to happen. So we build them all in the summer. And for the most part, most of our customers have been trained, I should say, I guess, to order in April, May. So all the custom boards basically come in the spring. So we have the summer to manufacture those, and then we can get them out in time for winter. So the biggest challenge I'd say is, the manufacturing side. Since we do close down manufacturing, we could probably sell more boards if we manufactured through the winter, but it's just not the way that we're set up. Plus, I'm in California and I like to touch every board. So, and I only go home in the summers to build them. So it's not going to happen in the winter building boards. Our most expensive board is probably about $1,500. It's got a lot of custom work on it. Not terribly expensive. There's more expensive boards out there, but it's probably $1,500.
Nice. And I noticed some of your names of them. I've seen the Boss and Iceman, and we're going to lobby to have you name one Mick and T after our show.
Let's do it.
Yeah, sure. Evan will be able to Evan could take it out for a whirl there. Now, you're currently in Lake Tahoe, California. Tell us briefly about the snowboard team that you're coaching out there.
So I'm the head coach of the Sugar Bowl snowboard team. We have a lot of hills around here. Sugar Bowl is one of the closer hills to where I live. And it's this incredible resort. It's got great snow. It's never too crowded. And it's just a nice spot to be. So our snowboard team, we've got about 12 athletes. They range from 8 to 15, and we're a free ride team. So we're kind of exploring the whole mountain. We do board across, half pipes, slope styles, rail jams as well. But our main focus is free ride to get the kids to fall in love with the sport and understand how the whole mountain, to ride from boundary to boundary.
Okay. Now, is that something where they live at the resort, or they come during the week?
So the snowboard program right now is it's run through the academy, which the academy is full time, but the snowboard program right now is just a weekend program. We don't have any athletes in the academy yet.
Okay. And how many total are in that program?
In the whole academy?
Yeah.
Well, if you include the academy and ski team and snowboard team, I think it's 300 or 400 in total.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big program.
That's impressive. All right, we'll get you out with one quick question that is non-snowboard related. If you had a choice between a Rocket Burger in downtown Fredericton or an In-N-Out Burger in California, what would be your choice?
Oh, I'm definitely going with Fredericton on that one.
Wow. The In-N-Out burgers are pretty damn good.
They're pretty good, but no, there's nothing like being the food back home. That's for sure.
There you go. All right. Well, he is Dave Vaughan, former Canadian national team snowboarder and currently the owner of Vaughan Snowboards in Fredericton. You can find out more about his company and see his really gorgeous looking products at vaughnsnowboards.com or on Instagram at vaughn.snowboards. Dave, thank you so much for being on the show.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Have a great winter.
Have a great day.
After this break, Small Town Spotlight heads up to a place where from November through March, the temperature has never gone above freezing once. You're watching the winter edition of Mick and T Sports Report on CHCO-TV in St. Andrews, New Brunswick. It's time for another edition of Small Town Spotlight here on CHCO-TV. Since CHCO is available on Bell Satellite throughout Canada, you can watch our show on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays if you live in Three Hills, Alberta, Foam Lake, Saskatchewan, or Happy Adventure in Newfoundland. And as always, you can watch the show on our YouTube channel. For our 21st edition of Small Town Spotlight, we head to Igloolik in Nunavut in northern Canada. With a population of 1,682, it's also home to Art Cirque, the Inuit circus group which performed at the 2010 Winter Olympics in Vancouver. To tell us more about the area and her own career, let's welcome in singer-songwriter Angela Amarualik. Angela, welcome to the show.
Hi, Joe. Thank you.
Okay, you grew up in a small Indigenous community that was very isolated. What were some of the social problems that affected people in your community?
We live in a community of just under 2,000, maybe 1,700. We had so much issues when I was growing up. We would have housing shortages that resulted in crowded homes, and
Okay.
I have many siblings, so we lived in a 3-bedroom, and 3-bedroom was rich for some of my people in my community. We also always had boil water advisory, and growing up with eczema, that really sucked.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Yeah. And then you mentioned there are very high food costs.
Yeah. We live in a fly in, fly out community, and we only get like 1 or 2 sea lifts per year. So sometimes for example, grapes can be up to a bag of grapes. It can be up to $20.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. That is crazy. Now, you also said there were a lot of positive things about growing up in your community. What were some of those?
Igloolik is known to be one of the richest communities in culture. We have elders that teach us sewing, hunting, igloo building, throat singing. There's many events that our ancestors used to celebrate, such as Return of the Sun, because we have 24-hour darkness end of November to end of December.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that can't be too much fun. Now, on the music side, how did you become interested in music, and how old were you when you started making music?
I was about between 4 and 7 when I would really love listening to my dad, my older sister, and my older brother play guitar. My dad also wrote a song about me, and that song made me so happy. I thought music was so special and I treasured it. So I was too small to use the guitar, so I got a ukulele when I was 14, 15, and then I started writing songs when I was 16.
That's great. Now, I looked up your musical style has sort of evolved into a mix between Inuit melodies, throat singing, and music from some of your childhood heroes. But why don't you explain to our viewers exactly what throat singing is?
Throat singing has been around for thousands of years. Inuit women, typically women, when they would always wait for their husband or the man of the
The
igloo.
house?
Yeah, igloo. So they would kill time with a friendly competition, throat singing. They would also use it to, they use a mauti, which is a warm baby pouch for the
Okay.
back, and the babies in the back would fall asleep with the sound of throat singing, I guess with the vibrations.
Okay, that is pretty neat. I will not ask you to do it live for us, nor will I try it for our audience. But that sounds like a pretty neat style of singing. I noticed your self-titled debut album was released about 3 years ago. You went on to win an Indigenous Music Award and was nominated for 3 other awards. So that really raises the bar a bit. Your second album is being produced by the same guy that's produced Sinead O'Connor and Buffy St. Marie, among others, which is pretty exciting. What is the name of your second album, and when do you think it will be released?
The name of the second album I'm currently working on will be called Uvanik, which means myself. I chose this song because I had a mentor and a fellow Inuk artist from Nunavut who was my biggest support, and she passed away almost 2 years ago, and I felt super lonely with my music. It was hard for me to write. So it's called Myself. It will come out maybe, I hope, spring or early summer. That's what I'm hoping for.
Okay. Well, you told me you're currently living and working outside of Montreal, but I know your heart will always be back in Nunavut, as it should be. In fact, our crack research department worked overtime, and we found out that back in 2018, you won a local pageant and were named Miss Igloolik, which so it was developed to give a voice to women in your community, which is a pretty special honor to have.
Mm-hmm. It
And
was an experience.
yeah, that's great. Now we have something in common because back in 1982, I was named Mr. Connecticut. So I'm just joking about that. I wouldn't go near any kind of contest like that. Well, it sounds like you have quite the interesting musical career, and hopefully now that hopefully we're near the back end of COVID, that you'll be able to get out and tour a little bit throughout parts of Canada and spread your music to others.
Exactly. I can't wait for that day.
Yeah, that'll be great. You can find out more about Angela by going online. We're going to show you her website and Instagram pages, and her songs are also available on Spotify and YouTube. And Angela, if you ever tour in the US and make it down New York way, I always tell people to stop down in little old Connecticut, and I will treat you to some of New Haven's world famous thin crust pizza.
Nice.
And if you tour, I'll definitely I'll be right in the front row. And when you do make it big, please don't forget the little show from St. Andrews that interviewed you. So if we come calling for another interview, don't big time us and blow us off or anything like that. And we'll definitely be following your career, and best of luck on everything.
Thank you. I'll think of you when I want some New York pizza.
There you go. You could write a song about me in the third album if you want. I know the second album's already done, but about the annoying talk show host, you could think of something about that for album 3.
Sure. I love food. That could be one of my things.
There you
to
go.
write about.
All right. Well, she is singer Angela Amarualik. Angela, thank you so much for being on the show, and best of luck with the new album.
Thanks for having me, Joe.
Well, we're back, and so is another amazing t-shirt. What's up with that one?
That was, it said Cutler's Record Shop. And since we interviewed a singer, I figured it's closed now, but it was sort of this big, awesome record shop in New Haven that was around for about 50 years till technology pushed it sort of to the side and they closed it. So in the singer there that I interviewed, her producer's named Chris Burkett, and this is before your time, Evan, and almost before mine. He was in a group way back called Love Affair, which had a #1 hit in the late 60s with a song called Everlasting Love that was done by a couple other people, but he had a #1 hit on it. So that was pretty cool. How about Dave? That was a pretty cool interview there.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. That was awesome. I learned a lot there.
And there was one thing that I forgot to pop up. We dug up a picture of Evan on the slopes there, getting ready to take it.
What you don't see is me cartwheeling before that and after falling down the hill. That's just a perfectly timed picture.
Yeah, and then all the ladies applauding for you and treating you to free drinks in the clubhouse afterwards.
My one time down the hill in the day, and then I shut it down.
Oh man. All right, let us move right along to the shout out portion. What do you have?
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to my friends Pat and Kelsey in Nova Scotia. They recently had a good healthy baby boy added to their family. Knowing the genes, they're probably going to have their hands full, so congrats to them.
Yeah, okay. Did they name it after you?
Pardon?
Did they name it after you, the baby?
They did not. No, that would make their hands full even more.
And I'm going to go for a shout out to one of our former guests, good old Nav, the super fan. They did a documentary on him. It's called Superfan. And it's about our man Nav Bhatia, who is the Raptors super fan. And I believe it's going to be on CBC tonight, which this episode is supposed to debut on December 3rd. So right after our show, you can take a quick snack break. And I believe that's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock Atlantic time, 9 o'clock Eastern. And they're going to show it, I think, a couple other times. And if you have that CBC Gem app, they'll be showing that throughout the month. So it's pretty cool. I guess it's like an hour documentary on him and his life. And who knows, maybe there'll be a clip from our interview in there.
There should be.
Yeah.
Highlights. You made it.
Oh man. All right. Well, that is it for episode 29, the winter episode here at Mick and T Sports Report. I am Joe in New Haven.
I'm Evan here and starting to get cold in New Brunswick, Canada.
There you go. Sounds like you're finally feeling better, which is good. Okay. Thanks to CHCO-TV station manager Patrick Watt and editor Florence Italy Mitchell.
There we
Put
go.
a little geography in there. Yeah. Patrick and Flo do the thankless job of producing and editing a show that is supposedly a favorite of university students on their final exam study breaks. That's what I have heard. And now that we've once again come to the end of another show, that means it's also time for our closing catchphrase. So to end off our winter episode, let's go with peace, love, and time for another cup of Joe. There you go. This is Mick and T Sports Report on CHCO-TV. We'll see you next time.